Hold on to your seatbelt, folks. There is a new thing out that I have to let you know about. It's called cord cutting. People are leaving cable TV. Welcome to another edition of Daily Brain Coffee, where we discuss a piece of news that's trending on LinkedIn. I just pluck something out and, we plug our brains in and have a little discussion about that. Today, that particular thing is cord cutting. So the trending post is, I'm saving this as a draft here, is that Comcast eyes a spinoff of cable TV. It says Comcast is considering a spinoff of its cable TV network amid continued cord cutting by subscribers. I loved when I read this and I thought, wow, is this, 2002? I've never heard of this cord cutting. What is this new phenomena? It made me kind of chuckle because I thought cord cutting is not the problem with Comcast. Okay, first of all, I've said it before, if you've ever called into their IVR system, their automated phone system, that is the worst I've experienced from a CX standpoint of any company I've had to call in for. It is terrible. It'll run you through all of these menus and things you don't want. And when you finally think you got somewhere, it'll hang up on you and put you back in the queue, and then you wait, and you do that. And after you wasted, a half hour of your life, and it's been that way for 10, 15 years. Like, it's terrible. And every time I call in, I'm like, oh, this is the wrong use of technology, because it just isn't effective and creates a terrible experience. Now, there's a little bit of a lesson to be learned there. And I want all companies to succeed when it comes to customer experience and their business strategy overall. So, I'm not down on them, but you do have to. The problem with this is a lot of times businesses are, you've got businesses being run for shareholders and stakeholders. You have a C-suite that is up in an ivory tower and so far removed from the everyday experience of the customers that everybody reporting up saying something nice, and those people say something even nicer, and so the person on the top is living on cloud nine, and they don't realize what the end user is actually experiencing with their product. That's why I love that show. I don't know if it's still running, but Undercover Boss. It was so great because once the leader goes down and works and gets his hands dirty and folds some boxes and realizes, A, you can't even do the most basic job in your organization, but B, when there's not, hey, the president's coming through all this, some big tour where everything's unrealistically clean and wonderful and overstaffed and all this, they get a shock of reality of how their frontline employees are being treated by the company and how they're treating the customers and the experiences that the average person gets. And boy, I'll tell you what, that's just called getting back in touch with your business. So I think that has some relevance here because, first of all, cord cutting is not a problem. And that's not a thing that is creating problems for Comcast. It's not that let's zoom out here. When they used to be the dominant force of entertainment as a platform, when people were watching 7 hours of TV a day or more, pre-social media and internet really, then all of a sudden people said, wow, the price is so big, I'm not using all the services, could I even think and imagine that I could go off of what everybody's using, right? For modern times, that would be like saying, get rid of your cell phone or don't use the internet. So these crazy, wild-eyed people thought that they could get away from cable, which was the source of entertainment. Then what happened was you had the internet, social media, and then later YouTube and all this and that. And you had people saying, you know what, maybe I could use some of these little app services and I wouldn't have all the choices, but I don't really use all the choices and I would save all this money. It was a money saver. So and you got to understand the pattern and the flow. If you're going to be a futurist or a strategist, you got to understand where things came from, where they're at, so you can understand what the right moves are. So that was cord cutting, and then that happened for probably a decade, at least. We're beyond the cord cutting thing. If you think that cord cutting is the problem of Comcast, you're it's like going into a doctor and they misdiagnose the problem. When they misdiagnose the problem, there's two problems that are created. The first one is that you're solving something that isn't the problem, and number two is you're not actually solving what the real problem is, and therefore you're in twice as bad a situation as you were had you had the right diagnosis. So I'm gonna put on the old doctor hat and try and give a better diagnosis here. It comes down to a couple of things, a couple of pillars. Number one is programming. The second is interface and experience. And these are the real problems. It's not about cutting a cord. I don't think there's a bunch of people going, oh my gosh, I didn't know I could get content somewhere else. Or I could buy a service through an independent app and maybe do without. Like, no, I don't think that's the conversation here. The real conversation is that you have, like I saw a stat, it was, I think it was on the BBC, it was like 48% of the 16 to 24-year-old market don't watch, or only that much of the audience watches traditional TV even weekly, right? And like 2018, that number I think was like 76. And so it's not because they're going, wow, there's an alternative, and I'm going, no, there's different problems. Let's map it out. There's a content problem. The first thing is, since about 2013, the quality of the content has gone dramatically downhill. Used to be the shows that were kind of great and the movies were great, and then you saw just garbage being put out, just stuff that isn't very good. And at the same time, you saw the rise of the internet, and you saw YouTube and all this, and kind of the democratization of content. And you had user-generated content that at first wasn't as good, but as it opened up and more people became content creators, then you started getting stuff that was better than what was on TV. And let's just look at the format of the platform. We'll talk about, because see, they got to understand who they're competing with. Comcast is competing, cable is competing with the entire internet, with all content. And so that's a problem. You're not trying, they're trying to continue to do the model that's not really relevant anymore. And then if they don't disrupt that model and recreate themselves in a entirely different model, they're going the way of Blockbuster, which thought they were in the DVD rental business instead of understanding they were in the entertainment business. And therefore, when Netflix went to, first they beat them on convenience, like Redbox and stuff like that, because it was at the grocery store. You didn't have to stop at a separate store, make a separate trip, right? That's what Amazon did. No, why go? That's what Instacart does. Why get in your car and go for bananas and milk when you could just get on your phone and then they'll show up at your door? You pay just a little bit more, but you saved all that time and energy and walking around doing all that. So it starts off with convenience, but then when it gets deeper in the generations, it's no longer about convenience, which is interesting because Amazon's running this problem. I think Amazon, in my opinion, is absolutely stalled. You can make sales and revenue and pat yourself on the back and think you're there and still be failing to reach your potential, right? Which could be 5x, 10x that. So if we look at this model, you see that a show, let's say I have a channel. They sold channels. And how many channels? Oh, we had 500 channels. Well, how many channels are there on YouTube? I don't know. Let me see if I can even ask. See if AI knows. Okay. 63 million. Okay? So now, let's say that you're a cable company and you have 700 channels. And you're competing against 63 million channels on YouTube. You see the problem there? That's not a moon, right? That's the Death Star. Okay, so yeah, that's a problem. And then the format on this one channel, I'm gonna sell away these 1 hour slots for programming. Okay, so you're gonna get 12 options to watch for the golf TV or whatever. That's what you're gonna watch on a Monday. Now, if I go over and I go on YouTube, I can spend my entire life watching golf channels, golf videos, all the time I have, infinitely. I can narrow it down. Now, at 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, it's how to improve your drive. Okay, cool. I have to know, like, they have a little bit of programming full of commercials on that one thing, and I don't know if it's going to be good or not, right? Unless I go look at it. I go over to YouTube and pull up 10,000 videos on how to improve my drive. So, and I can find my favorite creators. I can vet them. I can personalize it. I can interact with the people who created the content, the experts. I can interact with the people who are also watching that, who are learning, and join a community and do all this. None of that can I do on cable TV. Okay? So the problem is not cord cutting. The problem is fundamentally the framework and the structure are flawed and terribly less valuable. And yet the cost is actually more, because I can get all this for free. And then I can sub to my favorite ones, and I can make a little mini mix of, here's my favorite people who teach me how to putt, and here's my favorite people who show me I can go see all the beautiful golf courses around the world, and I can do that. Infinite, tailored to me, accessible where I want. And if I want to go down a rabbit trail, I can engage, I can go further and deeper and deeper. I can get as much content about that specific thing that I care about, where I can't do any of that on cable. So you have to understand that there's a fundamental problem in the programming. There's a problem with the interface. It's not personalized. It doesn't give me choices. It doesn't... See, if I go onto YouTube, I know that the more that I engage with that, the more I get back. They're making 1 hour shows, 30-minute shows, full of advertising. People have already proven they want 5-minute episodes. Look at TikTok. Look at all these different things. They want short form content. They want a little something that they can, and a lot of different little somethings, and things that bring surprise and discovery automatically to them, but within the scope of things that they might be interested in. Does cable do that? Cable doesn't do that. Cable just has long form content, a lot of it kind of cheesy, a lot of money spent. It's very inefficient. I think that model has just a lot of flaws. And if they want to be relevant, I think they're really going to have to flip it around and get some fresh thinking. Vision matters. Analysis matters. There's a reason why Apple was Apple with Steve Jobs, and afterwards he left, and they're just selling computers, hardware, but it's not the same. A visionary has an impact, a dramatic impact, one person on a business. So, love to hear what your thoughts are. What do you think? Do you think they're going to be able to innovate themselves? Are they too entrenched into the models and the frameworks that they're already in? What do you think could make a change? What do you think are the things that are going to cause them not to be able to make a change? Leave it in the comments below. It's great to have a conversation around there. I also think that the consumers change. Everything's changed. And I don't think they know what business they're in. And I think that's ultimately, if you don't have that one down, all your choices after that end up not being the right choices. But one thing's for sure, it's not cord cutting. Is not their problem. Anyway, hope you like this series. I just try and do it. I got to get to work just like you guys do. And if you like it, please like it and share. And leave your comments below. And we will have another conversation when I make another one of these. I haven't decided if I want to do maybe a podcast. I could do YouTube. I need to get over there. I just don't do any YouTube. Anyway, let me know if you think I should do that, if you'd be interested in that. Until next time, I will see you later. Have a great day.